I think these are definitely a good reason for me to finally make an upload. Well, I think this meme right here perfectly encapsulates what I believe everyone is thinking about when looking at these new toys, as well as just the designs themselves. Yes, hello everyone, it's me, Zimzilla99, back again with my regular upload schedule, and today I will be looking at the King of the Monsters designs. I will be starting with Godzilla, ending with King Ghidorah, and giving my brief assessment of the designs, what's changed, and what I do enjoy about these designs. Now, let's get into it with the King of the Monsters himself, Godzilla. Starting off, of course, with the King of the Monsters himself, Godzilla's design really hasn't changed much since his 2014 appearance. There are slight changes, that being the feet and the spines. However, his overall body shape has remained relatively the same. His color remains the same. However, I do believe it is the lower section of his neck and his chest area appear to be a little darker. However, that may just be due to lighting that we got at that show, as well as the pictures themselves not being of the best quality. And I do believe there were other images when 2014 was coming out where Godzilla's chest area and just his underbelly in general were a lighter brown. However, if it's been changed, it's not that big of a deal to me. The head's not that much different. However, it does appear that Godzilla doesn't really tilt his head down, and it looks like his head's just going straight up now. And it makes him look a little smaller. However, that might just be due to posing more than anything else. But I think the more noticeable things that we should be looking at is his feet. His feet, of course, have been changed a lot. We don't really have the elephant feet anymore, and we're back to more of a traditional Godzilla feet. This picture right here with the GMK feet right here does encapsulate what his feet look like now, especially his biggest toe that you can see right here at the bottom. It does have the overarching kind of hook that the GMK toes did. However, the general shape has remained the same. Of course, he still has the four toes. We just don't see any of the toes right here in this picture. But, of course, I'm happy that the feet were changed. I wasn't someone who always had an issue with the feet. However, I do like the changes they have made to the feet. Looking at the spines right now, this picture once again shows that the 54 spines and the new 2014 spines are really more similar now. The original 2014 spines were a lot more like stalagmites or stalactites. They just kind of went straight up in the air. They jagged a little bit, but there wasn't really much angularity and radicalness, if that's a word, that some of the original spikes did. However, it does appear that they are almost a one for one. The biggest spike definitely is exactly the same as the original 54 spines. The second one looks very close, and so does the last one. So I think what they did do was that they took the 54 spines, they took the three most prominent ones, and then they used the base of the 2014 spines to sort of build around it. And I'm happy with it. I hope there's an explanation. I think that'd be good if we know why the spines have changed. I assume it's just because Godzilla's getting older, because in Godzilla Awakening, which took place earlier, his spines were a little different, and 2014, and now this film, which is 2019. If the spines are just changing because he's getting older, I'm fine with that. Of course, the tail's cut off of this picture. Let me go back to this picture right here. The tail hasn't really changed much. If anything, it's a little thicker near the back, which I'm fine with, so that's good. Overall, Godzilla's design hasn't changed much because we've already seen him before, and I'm happy with the changes that have been made. I know some people aren't so happy, or they feel like it's being too pandering-y. I'm just making up words now. But yes, they're trying to pander too much to older fans. However, I think if it's the pander, it's good pandering because it's definitely a good design. And not much of the original 2014 design was changed, and I like that. It's very good design. Let's move on to Rodan next. Rodan's body shape really does resemble Fire Rodan or the Heisei Rodan in general. However, that may just be due to the shots we have seen of Rodan, because we haven't really seen Rodan stand up completely straight in the trailer, so we're not really sure if he'll resemble the show Rodan as shown here. But for what we have seen, I am really happy with Rodan's design. I wasn't too sure how it was gonna go, but I love the horns on the top of his head. The beak is perfect, and the wings itself, they kind of have a feathery appearance. It kind of resembles that of the older Rodan concept art you can see here, and the shape and sort of patterning looks similar to the maquette that is shown here on the bottom left. The chest as well, very similar to the older Rodan, the Showa Rodan, and we haven't really heard Rodan's roar yet. I assume it's going to be probably very much updated from Rodan's original roar, similar to how Godzilla's roar is different, but it does kind of maintain older aspects of what is considered the classical roar. So I hope that's a thing. The coloration, it's kind of a deep dark red or mahogany kind of color, or it's red just with black as the accent color. That actually reminds me kind of the Millennium Rodan from Final Wars. However, Millennium Rodan's wings, in the inside of his wings, kind of had more of an orange or brownish color, as well as his chest had a more brown color too. So I actually like the fact that the brown's not there and it's just the red and black accenting it. And the original Rodan actually was, I believe, completely brown as shown in the picture here. So I think I've always preferred Rodan having more of a red color, but that may just be due to me being a little bit more biased because most of the pictures I saw with Rodan were Fire Rodan, and I've always liked Fire Rodan's reddish color. However, I always liked it was kind of darker with the Millennium Rodan. So that might be due down to me liking Fire Rodan. It's one of my favorite Rodans, and then just kind of vibing with the design here. The wings very much like a pterosaur. His fingers do kind of crawl out, and then the last one making up the wingtip itself. That's good. The feet, good. Just overall great. You can't really see the tail, but the tail is very similar to that of the Showa Rodan in this picture. But overall, I am very happy with this design right here. Can't go wrong with it. Looking at Mothra's design, I believe it's probably the most controversial, if that is a term I would like to use in this video. Some people have akin the design to looking a lot like a Muto with a different head and different wings. However, personally, I really don't see how it's like a Muto. I mean, the Muto's design is basic, but I wouldn't say it's just like Mothra's or it's just the Muto design with a different head and wings. The design itself, it shares a lot with Mothra's old colors, which is good. Looking right here, this is old Mothra concept art. The legs are a lot smaller than in this concept art, as well as the front arms don't appear to have a second kind of claw to them. So they're less humanoid as in shown here with this concept art, and they're very much more insect-like. The head is very feminine, actually. It's very circular, and it does kind of portray the fact that Mothra is female, which is good. The antennae are nice, and the overall body shape is very good. It's very insect-like. Most likely in the film, we're going to see Mothra's legs and arms kind of fold in while she flies, so her kind of profile will look similar to that of the old Mothra. But, I mean, a lot of people are kind of going either way with this. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, definitely not. I'd say that, like, it's definitely not the design I was expecting. I was kind of probably expecting it to look a little closer to the original with the legs. So the legs are probably the one thing that stands out for me. But overall, I can't go wrong with the design. It's a really good design. Nothing wrong with me. Now I think everyone, and I mean everyone, is excited about looking at this design for King Ghidorah. Being the fact that he is Godzilla's most popular villain and his main antagonist, I think that this design definitely did it justice. Looking at the heads first off, their crown, the horns, very similar to that of the Heisei Ghidorah. However, they're a lot more jagged. There is a slight differences with each of the heads, which is nice. The face itself is a lot more European dragon-esque, if I was to use that. It actually, since the horns kind of have like what some people may think it's kind of like a devilish kind of look where they curl and then they shot out again. It reminds me a lot of Alduin's head from Skyrim. However, of course, Alduin's not black, or Alduin's black and Ghidorah is not. So, seeing the detail here is really nice. The scales, capture the triangular dragon reptile scales that Ghidorah's always had. The necks have kind of like the row kind of skin underneath, coming back down towards where we see with the legs. The legs are very similar to the GMK Ghidorah design, so we're seeing both Godzilla and King Ghidorah, and even to a certain degree Mothra, sharing a lot with their GMK designs. Of course, Rodan wasn't in GMK, so we can't really compare him to a GMK design. When looking at like his wings, Showa King Ghidorah it's not very similar. So these wings are a lot thicker. GMK and Heisei, it's similar to them except it's a lot more pronounced. It looks like he has bigger wings, and if we're going to call them arms for this scenario, his arms look like he has longer arms in general, while the Ghidorah wings of both Heisei and Millennium, both are a little shorter and stumpier. But these ones definitely are pronounced and allow this kind of frill-like display, as you can see how the toy is posed. The tail also has the spikes around it. Overall, just a perfect design. The legs actually similar to GMK Ghidorah, and looking at this in general, I do see a lot of Smaug inspiration. And once again, Smaug, European dragon, so he's very much like a European dragon, except he's got 3 heads. And in all honesty, he would fit right into any kind of fantasy settings. If they removed the 2 side heads, made the middle head a lot bigger, he would look a lot like a Skyrim dragon, actually. And that's why I think of Alduin when I look at his head. Like, wow. Even now, looking back at these designs, it is just amazing to see these designs. Just overall awesome. I'm very happy with this design. I think closing up right here, what I'm most happy about with these designs is that they stay true to their form and they take an old idea and they make it new. That's the good thing that I'm seeing with these designs. Of course, probably some may say Mothra is kind of the odd one out when I say that, but even then Mothra does a lot with old designs and makes it new. I think if I'm going to coin a term here, we don't see 98ism here at all. Of course, if you like Godzilla 98, of course, beating a dead horse, it's fine. You can like Godzilla 98. There's nothing wrong with that at all. However, what we're seeing here is monster designs that are done with concern for trying to keep the old kind of aesthetic, keep it there and elaborate on it, make it better. And personally, I think Ghidorah and Rodan being the 2 new ones out of like the new 3 that do this the best. I'm very happy to see how both of them are just really amazing looking, and I can't wait to see them on the big screen. I can't wait for a trailer to come out, see more of either of them, even Mothra too. I'm just loads of excited, so I hope you are. Comment down below what you think of these designs, whether you like them, you don't like them, why you like them, why you don't like them. Of course, always subscribe, be notified with the bell, follow my Instagram, follow me on DeviantArt, and as always, guys, see y'all later.